we have a habit of thinking something has to change. So we're in that change field. And I'm listening to you, I'm getting a feeling for, yeah, where am I with that, Michael? And it's like, I think along the way, so for me, for example, I think I'm going to share with you what I'd call a metanoia now, but I'll come to metanoia in a bit. One of the most important things I ever did was to give up self-improvement. So I gave up self-improvement for self-acceptance. And I needed to do that because self-improvement was a path essentially where no matter how much I tried to improve myself, there was always something left to improve. And I found that I was essentially on a change program the whole time. I was trying to change myself, so that. And as much as anything, if I could have, what I'd really like to have done is I'd like to have changed my past. That's what I'd really like to have done. And if I could have gone back, there were so many things I wish I could have changed. Just because of the sheer amount of pain that was there. So it's a really big moment to consider giving up self-improvement, not least just because I feel like I'm failing so badly at it. I mean, I'm a work ethic boy, so I was trying really hard at self-improvement, and I was thinking to myself, my God, I'm short again. Yet again, I haven't quite got there. This is really hard work. And I'd wave my fist up at God and go, why are you making it so hard? So something happened where there was a shift from self-improvement over to self-acceptance. The self-acceptance was the most terrifying bit, which was essentially giving up all the hope of what might happen if I improved myself enough. Does this make sense? You get a feeling for this? Self-improvement, self-acceptance. So I'd never tried self-acceptance. This was the tricky bit, because I was going to do self-acceptance after I'd improved myself. But because I hadn't improved myself yet, do you see what I mean? I wasn't ready for self-acceptance yet. It was nearly, almost, getting there, but not quite ready. So I'm not going to do it yet, because I haven't done enough self-improvement. One day, I properly decided to let everything be as it was. That's the big moment. I'm going to let everything be as it is, and I'll let everything be as it was. And even as I share it with you now, there's this extraordinary relaxation that came over me. I admit defeat. I will admit defeat. I'm absolutely not able to improve myself sufficiently. I will now admit defeat. And it was like, there you are, dear God. I guess you win. So, now that I've admitted defeat, what do we do? In that self-acceptance moment, all I can say is that after that, everything started to improve. Everything started to improve. And I promise you that from the bottom of my heart. If I could speak the secret back to Mike Scott, this would be one of the secrets I'd want to speak to everybody. See if you can find a way to make a shift from self-improvement, where you're always trying to change something, to an experience of self-acceptance where you can let what is be, let what was be, and then see what happens next. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next, for you or for me, but I will say there is such a thing as the miracle of self-acceptance. When we stop trying to change ourselves, and we you know, another word for self-acceptance really is love. Love ourselves absolutely as we are. And we bring some love to who we are right now. For the person that is the person they are to the day, and for the person who had the past that they had. It's amazing what can happen next. Now this part of me says, well, what is going to happen next? And then I have to still remind myself, I don't really know. I can't predict that for you. But I will just say, the only reason that self-acceptance doesn't really work is if you don't try it. If you've tried it, even just for a moment, and you can try it right now, you can just say, okay, I'm going to have a moment where I'm just going to, this is me when I'm not trying to improve myself. Just let yourself have a moment. Something happens where we drop out of psychology and into being. In this moment, I'm not going to try and improve myself. And if you stay with it, you say, in this moment, I'm simply going to be willing to accept myself. This is when some sort of extraordinary shift happens. We don't need to improve ourselves. Another way of saying it is we don't have to be perfect to be amazing. So there's an invitation on offer here just to practice the miracle of self-acceptance. We don't have to. I think it's something to do, Michael, with the difference between changing and growing. I think one of the reasons why we want to change is because there is this impulse in us to want to grow. But there's a world of difference between a changing setup or a growing setup. We're all growing. And it's much more fun, I think, to be on a growth path than on a change path. And the growth path will have lots of changes in it, but those changes will happen not because we're trying to change ourselves. They'll happen because we're accepting ourselves more. And that's the miracle. There's a miracle in there that I can't explain to you, but I can be a witness for it, and I can testify to it, and I can say it's well worth trying. I wished for the longest time that I could have changed my past. Eventually I came to understand that I can't change my past, the events of what happened in my past, but what I can do is change my relationship to the past. And when I change my relationship to the past, that's when I can absolutely, connect again to the original goodness, to the formlessness, to the I am, to the big story, and say, all right, let's go again. I'm ready, I'll go again. I'll say yes again, to the big love. I'll say yes to following my joy. I'll say yes to all of this. Because I'm not trying to improve myself first before I go for the next big push. I'm actually going to just accept, myself, and out of that acceptance seems to come something wonderful.
One of the coolest experience I had of that kind of shift, and for me, I didn't think of it in terms of self-acceptance, but it was a recognition of a kind of a stupidly simple truth. What is, what isn't. And And that was another one of those ones that kind of got under my skin, that stayed with me, that didn't just go down in a notebook and get put away as cool shit other people said. And I remember it really hit me. I was up one night, couldn't sleep, worrying about this, that, and the other. And sometimes when this just has gone nuts, I'm just like, anyone? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm just like, not me, I'm out. And almost always, something comes to me, something shifts, something occurs. In A Course in Miracles, the prayer, let me see this differently. Help me see this differently. I didn't even get to articulate that, but that was the feeling behind it. And within 30 seconds, it came to me, came back to me. What is. What isn't. And all of a sudden, it occurred to me to ask myself, what is right now? And I had so many things I was worrying about. There were money things, there were things to do with my kids, there were things to do with Lena, there were things to the world. I mean, I had a litany. And when I asked myself, what is right now? The answer was so simple, I laughed out loud. Man in bed thinking. And I was asleep in minutes. And it's fascinating. It would have been so easy to have thought, I need to fix this, and I need to fix that, and I need to change this, and I need to change that. We do not suffer from what is. We're made for what is. We're not made for what isn't. So we suffer what isn't. Yeah, but what if this happens? That's what isn't. Yeah, but what about that? That's just content of thought. But sometimes what is does need handling. But we're made to handle that. Like, it's the kindness of the design. We are made for what is. But we think we're supposed to be able to figure this out. It's just not what we're here for. You can eat what's on your plate today. You can't eat what was on your plate yesterday or as a child. You're not made to be able to eat what you think is going to be on your plate tomorrow or in a week or in a month or in a year. But you can eat what's on your plate. You're made for that. You can digest that. And when we see that, transformation happens. Growth happens, uninhibited by our best efforts.